I want to walk you through something important today. I've been sitting with this story for a while now, thinking how fast things have changed for Robinhood, and how almost nobody seems to understand what is actually happening under the surface. And I want to share it with you in a slowly and simple manner, so you can see the whole picture for yourself. My name is Joshua, and I do not want you to buy or sell anything. This is not financial advice. I just want to show you a story that feels bigger than it looks at first glance, so you can think better and decide what fits your own goals. Most people only notice a company after a big move. They saw Nvidia after it ran for 10 years. They saw Tesla after it turned early investors into millionaires. And then they said the same sentence every time. If I had just looked a little bit deeper, if I had just paid attention earlier, things would have been different for me. And everyone knows that. I've been thinking about that feeling a lot. The fear of waking up years later and realizing you ignored something that was right in front of you. And that what made me look very closely at Robinhood, because 2 years ago this was an $8 stock that nobody wanted. Today it's around $115. A $10,000 position would be worth $140,000. And that kind of move doesn't happen by accident. It happened when a company quietly goes through a full transformation while the rest of the world keeps looking backward. And to understand how big this shift is, you have to remember where Robinhood came from. A few years ago, it was the center of the meme stock, storm, I would say. People were angry, regulators were circling, and the core business model looked like, it might collapse. You had days where it felt like the whole platform could disappear, and yet here we are. The company didn't just survive. It rebuilt itself from the inside out. One of the smartest moves that they have made was using high interest rates, and that to their advantage, because they created reasons for customers to bring their cash into the platform, and that cash turned into real income. And since January 2024, total customer assets on Robinhood have climbed from around $102 billion to more than $340 billion. And that is not normal growth. That is like a tidal wave, I would say. And the secret weapon behind this Robinhood Gold is $5 a month or $50 a year. You get higher interest and a few benefits. Yeah, it feels simple, but simple things compound. Gold members keep more money on the platform and they trade more, they're more engaged, and subscriptions give Robinhood something rare in this industry: a predictable income. You can also see the shift in the earnings numbers. Revenue came in at 1.27 billion. Earnings per share was about 61 cents. But the real story here is how the revenue is built. And transactions revenue have more than doubled. Crypto grew by 300%, and options grew by 50%. Equities grew by more than 100%, and average revenue per user rose by 82%. Net interest revenue jumped by 66%. That's insane. And when a company grows in every direction at the same time, it usually means one thing: the business is not running on one single engine anymore. It has multiple engines pushing at once. And that is where things get very interesting, because one of those engines is something most people still don't understand, and it's called prediction markets. Prediction markets have gone from a small experiment to the fastest growing product in the history of the company. Faster than early crypto, faster than options boom. In less than a year, this line of business crossed $100 million in annualized revenue. And based on October volume, analysts think it's heading towards 300 million. And this is not a side project. This is a new category of financial trading. And Robinhood is becoming the front door of this. Think about this: 4 billion event contracts traded in total, more than 2 billion in a single quarter. And October alone saw $2.5 billion of event volume. And over 1 million users have touched these markets already. And Robinhood's flow now represents more than half of Kalshi's activity, which is their competitor and who is actually the leader in this space. This is like watching the early days of options or crypto all over again. A new behavior, a new culture, a new product that feels fun, social, and financially meaningful at the same time. People are trading on sports, elections, inflation data, interest rate decisions, and global events, and they're doing it through a regulated channel. And Robinhood isn't stopping there. The LedgerX deal changed the whole map. Robinhood and Susquehanna together are buying 90% of LedgerX, which is a fully regulated derivatives exchange. And this gives Robinhood the license to run futures, options on futures, swaps, clearing, and event-driven derivatives. It's like going from renting someone else's stadium to owning your own arena. And this means that by 2026, Robinhood could be operating its own exchange, not just a brokerage, an exchange with institutional liquidity and real clearing infrastructure. And Susquehanna, one of the biggest players in the event markets, will likely be the key market maker from day one. It is rare to see a company pivot into a new business line this quickly and this powerfully. It reminds me of what happened when Coinbase leaned into the crypto before everyone else, or when Nvidia learned into GPUs for AI before anyone cared. And these moves only look obvious in hindsight. And the regulatory environment is also shifting at the same time. Court rulings have opened the door for legal regulated event contracts on many types of outcomes. The line between gambling and trading is being redrawn, and many brokers are waiting for clarity. Robinhood is not waiting. They are already building the infrastructure. Outside of prediction markets, they are expanding into private investing. They filed for Robinhood Ventures Fund, which gives regular people like me and you access to private companies, and they plan to open the door to private AI investing as well. And things that used to be locked away for institutions are starting to open again. And this is the exact kind of move that changes the long-term shape of a platform. And when I step back, the story becomes bigger than a stock chart. Robinhood today is a multi-engine machine. Interest income, subscriptions, crypto, equities, options, private market, prediction markets, and soon its own regulated derivatives exchange. The stock has already climbed 250% I think in the last year, and the company joined the S&P 500. And analysts from Bernstein and Cantor are calling prediction markets one of the biggest new revenue opportunities in fintech. And yet, most people still see Robinhood as this meme stock platform from 2021. And this is where the soft FOMO creeps in, not the loud hype FOMO, the quiet one, the one where you look at a company and say, if this continues for the next 5 years, will I regret ignoring it? I don't think one stock will ever set you up for life. And that's not realistic. Even if you put $10,000 into Robinhood today, you need about 26% annual return for 20 years to turn that $10,000 into 1 million. And that's a high bar. But I also cannot ignore how different things this company feels right now. I can't ignore how fast it's moving into new markets, and I can't ignore the scale of the prediction market growth. And of course I can't ignore the fact that it's becoming something bigger than just a simple trading app. For me, this is a multi-year story. I like the risk reward, I like the optionality, I like how early we are in these things and in these product categories, but only you can decide if it fits your goals. And only you can decide if it belongs as a small piece or a long-term plan. I'm not telling you to buy it. I'm not telling you to sell it. I'm just saying, sometimes the big shifts in the market start quietly, and people only realize it when it's already too late. And I want to say thank you for staying with me until the very end. If you like these slow, high context breakdowns, you're right here. Thank you so much, subscribe and like. See you next time. Bye bye.